So this is Samantha at Long Neck Manor, and we recently did a procedure on our big male giraffe Kafele in regards to his feet. So hoof care here at Long Neck Manor is something that we really prioritize because it is kind of the overall health, or it's included in the overall health of a giraffe. He's an individual that doesn't like to particularly be touched, and we had noticed that there was a few signs that there may be overgrowth in his feet. So we reached out to kind of the top farrier that we go to. His name is Steve Foxworth. And we were in kind of communication with him. We sent him photos of the tops of the feet, the bottom of the feet. And for Kafele, we decided that it was a priority to get in front of a potential issue that may come down the road if we didn't do anything about it. We had Steve come out and we did a standing sedation, meaning that Kafele walked into our medical tamer that we have, our giraffe tamer. He was given a slight sedative, and this was honestly months and months of training to get up to this moment. Kafele is not an individual that likes to squeeze or walk through any tight corners, anything like that. So it took months getting him ready for this moment, and on the day of, he honestly did great. He literally just walked right in. We were able to close him in, and then our vet was able to give him just a light sedative to make him comfortable, but not too much of a sedative so that he would fall down. We want him to stand up, being able to hold his own weight so that we could pick up each one of his feet. We did a trim on all 4 of them, and it only took about an hour, which was really great. When it came to doing Kafele's procedure, we not only brought our vet out, we brought a second vet as well, and then the vet brought his team, and then Steve brought one of his guys on his team. So honestly, I think in total there was probably about maybe 15 of us. When it comes to picking up Kafele's feet in the squeeze, we actually had to put a rope around kind of his fetlock or his joint on the bottom of his foot so that we could pick up his foot kind of in this manner so that we could file and grind the bottom of his feet. And it took honestly about 3 to 4 people to hold the rope so that we could tie it off. And then Steve, our farrier, he was the one that mainly did all of the grinding, and he uses a DeWalt grinder because their feet are pretty tough. It's not just like a little nail file that we would use. So not only you have to do the one foot, the front foot, and then we did the second front feet. For Kafele specifically, we were mainly focusing on his front feet. Those were the 2 feet that we saw maybe just a little bit more overgrowth. We did trim all 4, but since it was his first time going under any sort of sedation, first time doing a hoof trim like this, we really wanted to prioritize the front feet, and he did really well. We were able to get to the back feet, and the whole thing took about an hour. That was from giving the initial standing sedation drugs to giving the reversal for him to wake up. So even though this procedure day of in February only took about an hour, there was a lot that went into prepping for something like this. So the day before, Steve Foxworth actually did a presentation with the staff, all the animal care specialists, because I was the only one that had ever done a standing sedation. The rest of the team had never been a part of one. So Steve wanted to come out. He kind of wanted to set the scene for everybody for what they could expect, what potentially may happen, because especially this was Kafele's first time giving any sort of drugs at all. So it is just a concern, kind of something you think about because you never know how it's gonna, or how he's gonna react. So Steve came out the day before. We had a full-on kind of lecture with the team. But even before that, I had a call with the vets and with Steve about 2 weeks before, just kind of to set the day. And then even the training for Kafele, it was honestly a whole year leading up to that moment. So even though it was an hour, it was honestly over a year's worth of work that went into this whole procedure for Kafele. So since we had this procedure with Kafele in February, I actually recently went to Steve's workshop. It's ZHTP, so Zoo Hoof Stock Trim Program. It was a full week in Colorado learning about all things feet. So we learned about all the ligaments that they have down there. We learned just about a lot of it. We started working on equine feet, so horse feet. We were given cadaver feet. We had to dissect, learn the anatomy. We had to score the feet. And then we shifted into two-toed animals, so specifically giraffes. And when we looked at hooves that were severely overgrown. We had to trim our own feet, and then Steve would come check it. We started on horse feet, and then we shifted over to goats. I think I did an elk foot actually. So when we would trim the feet and we were all done, they would actually do a cross section of the foot so that we could see exactly where maybe we trimmed too much, where we could have trimmed more, because you're really looking at the P3, so it's the bone that they stand on. And then we also had a day where we went to the Denver Zoo. We were able to watch a few different trims that Steve does there. We were able to watch a giraffe voluntary hoof trim, which was really neat. They do training there as well. And then we were also able to watch a zebra sedation and a diker sedation. So all different feet that Steve works on, just so that we could learn in the workshop, you know, all the different type of hoof stock animals that we may be trimming on once we get back to our facility. It is now my job to bring it back to the staff, especially as the director of animal care. That is one thing that I think is important for me, is to teach the staff, because everyone needs to know this information. It doesn't benefit the animals if I just know. This is something that every single individual here needs to know. And honestly, I think this is something that everyone in the zoo industry should know, because hoof care for them is super important for their overall health. So if you guys want to learn more about Long Neck Manor or even hoof care or any of the animals here, just like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.